Oh, what is this? Some of you know, and some of you were lucky enough to get one. Laser engraved, laser cut coasters with 25th annual DSM GTR Shootout and a picture of my Elantra on it. I made them myself. Sorry they don't say EVO, but I promise I'll make it up to the EVO guys later in this video. There are only 37 of these in existence, and this one is mine. I decided to trailer the Elantra to the Shootout, and it didn't even put a dent in Big Red's gas mileage. I've actually averaged worse mileage since I returned the trailer, but it was a lot cooler, less stinky, less dangerous, and less cramped of a way to do the trip. It also gave me the peace of mind to know that if I broke the Elantra, I'll still get to keep it. The Hyundai has a history, you know. 2 years ago, Tom from Tom's Turbo Garage successfully baited me to the Shootout as a spectator by offering me a free place to crash, and for that I will be eternally grateful. I had so much fun at the 23rd annual Shootout seeing how everything works that ever since I've been dying to go back and bring one of my cars with me. But this time I wanted the full immersion experience. I wanted to be at ground zero before, during, and after the scheduled events. Veterans of this weekend will tell you that the best way to do it is to book a room at the Motel 6 in Milan. Most of the veterans also don't stay there. You have to have endurance, man. It may look like a ghost town at this particular moment, but this historically is the spot where the action is non-stop. This is where the party after the party is, and all through the weekend, hundreds, if not 1,000 4G63 and 4B11 fanatics all descend upon it for the camaraderie and antics that ensue. This hotel sells out every year, and if you're staying here, you're not sleeping in that room anyway. Yes, it was this tiny swimming pool at this hotel that ended up with a jet ski performance in it one night. I'm pretty sure that that was frowned upon, but somehow the hotel staff are still exceptional at tolerating us after all these years. If you're bringing a car and you want a good spot in the paddock, don't be late. The hotels are just a short 10-minute drive through corn country, so it doesn't take long to get to the Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk. I only brought the Hyundai for test and tune because I know most of this car's growing list of limitations, but this track is one of the stickiest, best prepared tracks I've ever seen. It has a reputation for causing practice racers to bog their launches, and it's claimed lots of broken drivetrain parts, so if this Hyundai is ever going to stick anywhere, it's going to do it right here. If you lack humility, you should start off this event by racing one of the 9-second GTRs with the front-wheel drive Hyundai Elantra. Where else would this ever happen? I'm pretty sure that this is the first and only moment in history. We all know how this is going to go, but let's watch anyway. When my car launches, even though it's front-wheel drive, it gets a big rear-end squat. The front-end suspension unloads, and that causes severe positive camber. The tire's contact patch is then moved to the outside of the tire where it can't bite under load anymore, and torque on the long side of the axle of transmission causes it to lift and spin the right front tire. The result is a one-wheel peel every time you mash on the happy pedal. It knocked, so I got out of it early around the 1,000-foot mark. I'm really happy that a cool cat from Oregon named Keen showed up to film my Friday runs. I got data from these passes that I couldn't ever get from a data log. Check out that 60-foot. This is why this car has been traction limited to 13s and 14s, whether it's 30 psi or if it's at wastegate pressure. It just doesn't grip. Everything from the spring rate to the camber is wrong. That one pass wound up creating a whole lot of interest back in the pits. Loads of people dropped by to get a look at this first-generation Elantra in person, and the attention, support, and kind words were really overwhelming. I'm grateful to all of you. I got to put faces with names and talk shop with loads of people who've watched this car get bolted together on YouTube. It was awesome. After the commotion died down, I recalculated the speed density map in an effort to tune out some of the knock, and got back out on the track for one last pass to see if the cooler night air could help it. My only chance this weekend is to make up for my slow car with a good reaction time.
After the lights go off, so please help us out in that. Get too wild crazy here on night one.
I tried to baby it out of the hole this time and I still spun it. The night air helped, and it still knocked, but not enough to have to lift. I cut a good tree and the 60-foot improved, but my 60-foot still stinks, and it's where this car's problem really lies. It's not the track's fault. The track's so sticky that I once walked across the staging lanes and it pulled one of my shoes off. I have a witness, as you can tell. I have to thank the gentleman in the blue EVO who lifted at the 8th mile and gave me a fighting chance. I hate to take one like that, but a win's a win. The Elantra just beat its first EVO ever. If the reaction times were a little bit closer, that would have never happened, but I thank you kindly for the opportunity and I hope your car's okay. Much love, Jafro. Well, it was about that time. The lights at the track cut off and I set off to the hotel. Lots of people camp at the track and they're the ones who actually get sleep. But not me. I hurried back so I could get a decent parking space. This parking lot fills with hundreds of people before midnight. The Hyundai got lots of love and I really enjoyed getting a chance to meet so many fans and enthusiasts. Oh look, there's Keen right there. Thanks for operating the big camera, bro. Plus, you're a pioneer. You made it to the shootout from Oregon basically on foot and slept in a tent in the rain. Man, that's hardcore. You'll have epic stories to tell about the shootout for the rest of your life. I hope you got back home safe and sound. The Hyundai got lots of love and I really enjoyed getting a chance to meet so many fans and enthusiasts. Around 4 a.m. the crowd died down a bit and I finally got a couple hours of sleep. The next day, slightly sunburned and with my head screwed on sideways, I'm back at the track for more. This is my pit neighbor, Rob O'Grady, in that ultra clean and shiny 1GB GSX. Big shout out to Rob and to Norman Ing for putting up with me. Rob's car actually cleared 1,320 feet faster than mine did. He just happened to leave us half second later. The only thing that helped me win either of these two races so far has been my reaction times. You'll get me next time, Rob. The numbers prove you 60-footed me, got me in the 8th mile. Heck, you had me all the way down the track, but I caught you napping and it's all that saved me. If there's one thing that can ever be said about Jafro, I'll always give you the best run that I can muster in whatever it is that I'm driving. Keep up the great work on that beautiful 1G, bro, and thanks for being such a great neighbor.
Thank you, my friend.
Ever since my attempts to enable gear-based boost control started, I haven't been able to make heads or tails of my tune. I lost track of Keen on Saturday, but Jason Drew was nice enough to put his own camera down and shoot my runs for me. Jason's got a sweet metallic Barcelona Red Pearl 2GB GSX, and he's been one of my recommended channels for a while. You can see his car right over there. But anyway, he's made over 290 DSM videos, and he even makes some sweet DSM parts too. Mr. Drew drove all the way out here from Quebec for this event. If you don't know his channel, you can click through from my recommended channels and tell him that Jafro sent you. He's probably in my comments too. Huge thanks for the help, Jason, and congratulations on your second place finish in the 11-second index class. The guy in the Durango Copper Pearl GSX with the squeaky brakes is Edwin Flores. That's not much of a dig coming from a guy with a brake light out, but I've got to take every shot I can get in this equipment. We decided it was only appropriate for both of us to take all of our problems and run them down the track together one last time before the track closed for the day. My earlier airflow adjustments were in good shape in the logs, but I hadn't seemed to solve my knock issues at wastegate pressure, so I took 4 degrees of timing out of every cell above 4,500 RPMs to see if that would put it into the knock. At first I thought Edwin just handed me a regular old ass whooping. I heard a pop, saw a little poof of smoke at the 1,000 foot, and I figured that that was where he broke the sound barrier. car finished the race, leaving me time to read his result off the scoreboard and think about it. I saw the 12-second pass at only 95 miles an hour, and that's not a regular old ass whooping, that's an irregular old ass whooping. Something didn't seem right. As for my car, it didn't knock significantly, but it didn't make any power either. The boost is still at 10 pounds, and it felt like I blew my spark out above 6,500 RPMs. You can actually hear that happen at the end of the run, but I've learned all I can from it for now. Oh, come on, man. Don't be broken. Not all the way down here. I'd better stop and see what's up. Engine's off. Driver's out. Hood's up. He's going straight for the, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Turns out his cam angle sensor plug vibrated loose and it lost injector signal. When that happened, it flooded the intake manifold with fuel. That explains the miles per hour and the poof of smoke. I hope you don't mind me sharing that info because I learned something. I didn't know that would result from that happening. I contributed a wire brush to the cause so he could clean up his fouled plugs and get it to fire again. I hope that was the end of that problem, Ed. I had none of these tuning problems with a simple manual boost controller on it, but I definitely have a whole lot more traction in second and third gear without it. It still doesn't go any faster either way you slice it. And once I got it back home and poured back over the logs, it turns out that replacing the manual boost controller with the wastegate solenoid actually caused all of my problems that I battled all weekend. It ran 3 psi lower with the wastegate solenoid than it did with the manual boost controller on it. That dropped the engine's load rating to the next row of cells on my timing table, and I ended up in an untuned part of my timing map. It was getting crazy timing advance that I shouldn't have ever seen, even with E85. That's where the knock was coming from. It really was that stupid of a problem. Many of you know I tried to turn the boost up unsuccessfully. I could have actually fixed the knock issue by turning the boost up, but user error prevented it. The right thing to do for me is really to fix the timing table because 10 psi is where I'm going to be if the solenoid goes into failsafe mode. Too bad I didn't figure all that out at the track. I didn't bring the Hyundai all the way to the shootout to break records though. I just brought it to run it down the track and let everyone see it out in the wild and to hang out with everybody. I didn't expect it to be any less problematic than it's been back at home, so I'm not the slightest bit disappointed in any part of the experience. What we learn as a baseline about this build though is that turned all the way down as low as it can go, it still makes no traction in first gear. I put a decent sized turbo on this thing and I can't even use it. This car doesn't need it. The chassis is its own worst enemy, but we all still love it. I mean, I raced a GTR in this thing. Where else would I ever get to do that? I'm serious. Before I left the track, I stopped by Gil T's tent to pick up some genuine DSM apparel so that I can show my love for family with pride. I bought several shirts from them over the years, and some of you have seen me wearing them in my videos and asked me where I got them. Gil T has awesome DSM stuff for all sizes and sexes, and if you want one and you can't make it here to the shootout in person, go check out Gil T on Facebook. That's GILLTEE.com. And stock up. For a 0% discount, tell Gilbert that Jafro sent you. If you bring a car to race at the shootout, then you're working. Unless you're racing in every single event, it keeps you pretty busy and it makes it a little bit hard to get around and see all the other cool stuff and the great talent that shows up. If you like to drag race and you don't bring a car, you sort of feel like you're missing out on the experience, except that you're really not. You're going to see more things and do more stuff as a spectator. Tom Tharp set me up with a place to stay for my first shootout, and I'll be eternally grateful for that experience. I had so much fun. I had just as much fun as racing here. I got privileged access to the launch box on that visit for about an hour with the big camera, and I got a whole shot view of the kinds of races that you'll see if you can make it out to this event. I'm sure that some of you watching were here for these runs and you know why it's the place to be. I'm grateful that I got the chance to do this again, and I'll be back. Special thanks to David Busher for hosting a dynamite event for the past 25 years, and everyone who stopped by to show some love. It was awesome meeting so many of you. If you managed to get a coaster from me, sound off in the comments. For now, I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy all the energy of these races.
11.5, beyond street, 11. Racing, Street 32, Caitlin Racing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this man's got 2 GTRs. That's a superior lift time. $10.53, $1.41. Gonna improve by 100 at $1.35. So it gets 100 and gets an extra mile.
Uh-huh.